Rama and his brother Lakshman, and this Hanuman, the monkey god. This is Shiva, the God Almighty, and his wife Parvati. Right. But this is the causeway they're building between India and Ceylon. And it took them 12 years throwing rocks into the sea. Throwing rocks into the sea. And after 12 years, they attacked Lanka, Sri Lanka. And they kill Ravan, and they bring Sita back. That is Deepavali. From Sri Lanka to India, that's Tamil land, Tamil Nadu. So they commemorate Diwali, Festival of Lights, happy that, their God was able to get his wife back. Hooray, hooray. Then a day later, the North Indians, they started celebrating. Can you see the difference, the reason? Why the South Indians first, a day before, and the Middle Eastern Indians, or the North Indians, a day after. This is the reason. Sounds very good. Beautiful story. I'm telling them, so, and everything, they know. There's nothing new. But I says, you know what? This creates certain questions in my mind. I says, Rama is a god. He said, yes. But I said, he didn't know that the buck was not a buck. Can you imagine? He's God, but he didn't know that the buck was not a buck. Somebody was deceiving him. He's God, but he didn't know, poor fellow. So that's what it looks like. That's what the book says. I said, Rama is a god, but he wants the help of a monkey god to help him. He is God, but he needs a monkey god to help him out of his difficulty. Incongruous. I said, yeah, look, he's a god. And yet, I said, 12 years poor fellow had to wait to get his wife back. You see, Ravan, maybe he had a helicopter or a boat. He took Sita across just like that. Rama took him 12 years, to build a causeway. I said, didn't he know how to make a raft? These people that we are talking about, my people. 5,000 years ago, there was a civilization in the Indus Valley. I went to Mohenjo-daro and Taxila outside Rawalpindi. In Rawalpindi, Taxila, there are excavation works going on, and there's a museum close by. I visited it around the 1950s. At that time, I wasn't very much interested in what I'm talking now. No, it was just, casually, just to come and tell people I visited Taxila. From that point, I visited the place. And in the museum, I saw gold jewelry as modern as today's jewelry, made by my ancestors 5,000 years ago. 3,000 years before Jesus was born, they had a waterborne sewerage in Taxila. They made muslin cloth, a yard muslin cloth, you can hold it in the palm of your hand. Now, that nation, they didn't know that deadwood floats. Is it possible? A nation was so civilized. They made gold jewelry, they made muslin cloth, but they didn't know that deadwood floats. I says, in anthropology, study of man, we learn that mankind knew that deadwood floats long before he invented fire. The primitive man standing by the riverside, the river is in flood, and he sees trees being washed away, and somehow the trees come somewhere nearby one of them, and then he wades in and he gets onto the tree and he sees this carrying his weight, it's floating, and it's jumping, hey, it's nice, it's a nice feeling. He discovered that deadwood floats long before he discovered how to make fire. And yet Rama, poor man, he didn't know how to make a raft. He could have crossed over, he wouldn't have waited 12 years. But the devil, Ravan, they say, is a devil. Look, the devil did it just like that. Amazing. God, he poor fellow, 12 years. And I says, look, you, my friend, if somebody takes your wife behind the door for 2 minutes, and if you have the power to break the door down, break the wall down, what would you do? So break it down. If you have the power, you do it. You wait. Somebody with your wife, your mother, your sister, your daughter, you wait for 12 years to rescue her? What kind of a God are you? 12 years, and what is that guy doing with his wife? Can you imagine? Because look, anybody steals somebody's wife, there's only one reason. No matter how old the guy is. Nobody steals people's wives to worship them, say, you're my Sita, you're very beautiful, you're very nice. So the guy sees how ridiculous the situation is. That's what you see, my forefathers, they saw the light, and they extricated themselves. Or we have another experience. You see, the experience with Hinduism is so vast. But if you look for it, when the opportunities are there, pass it on, pass it on. When you're passing on, you're actually programming him, you're brainwashing him away from what he's holding on to. Because his mind revolts. God He can't save his own wife. I think somebody abducts your wife and you say, oh Rama, help me, oh Rama, help me. I said, how can the poor Rama help you when he couldn't help his own wife? I had a couple from Rhodesia, old Rhodesia. They call themselves spiritualist white people. They came to the office, just some time back. And I said, now how do you people come to find us? He said, no. He says, our priest, you know, when we close for our Christmas holidays, he read from the Quran, you know, the birth of Jesus. And at the end of it, he said that, you know, this book speaks about Jesus and his mother in a nobler and a sublimer terms than anything to be found in the Bible. So they said, where did you get it? He said, look, when I was in Zululand, I was reading the Sunday Tribune, and in that there was an advert, and I wrote for the Quran, and I got it, which he used. So that is where we got our address from, so we come to see you. This is very good. And we found these spiritualist Christians. They call themselves spiritualists. They don't belong to any other of these Orthodox churches. They were so tolerant, they were so good, that while I'm talking to them, they're very, very happy with my explanation. But they had an attitude towards all religions, that all religions are the same, and all religions are equal. They say all the rivers go into the ocean, and all the paths lead up to the top of the mountain. That's actually the Hindu programming. This is how the Hindus program people. So look, all rivers go into the ocean. You know my mind, right? All the paths lead you to the top, means to God. Any path you take, you reach there. See, whether you take Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianism, communism, anything you take, you reach there. What are you worried about? You don't have to become a Muslim, or you don't have to become this or that. You just take any path, it will take you there. You be a good Christian, I'll be a good Hindu. You be a good Muslim, I'll be a good Hindu. You don't interfere with me, I don't interfere with you. Sounds very, 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 charitable. So these people now are brainwashed with that type of idea. So all religions are the same, and they are all equal. And I'm telling them all religions are not the same, and they are not equal. And the more I argue, the more it creates the impression that we Muslims are very intolerant. He is tolerant, he is prepared to concede that Islam is equal to his, but I'm not prepared to concede that all are equal. And the more I argued, it was creating a bad taste in the mouth. So I said, now let's change the whole situation. So I'm telling them, I said, look, have you visited the mosque? He says, no. I said, come, I will take you to the mosque and see, how we Muslims pray. And they came, take off the shoes. I won't go into details, took off the shoes. While we make wudu, explain, salah. We came out, very impressed. Very impressed. I said, now, have you been into a Roman Catholic cathedral? It's the next door. Next to the Juma Masjid is the Roman Catholic cathedral. He said, yes, yes. So I said, now you know how the Muslims, how they behave in the mosque, you know what it looks like, you know what a Christian cathedral looks like. Have you seen a Hindu temple? He says, no. I said, come, I'll take you. So I took them in my car to Amgeni Road, near that old Greywood. Now, this main station, just a few hundred yards from there, is the largest temple in South Africa. The largest mosque in the southern hemisphere, Durban. The largest temple in South Africa, Durban. Durban is unique. So I took them to the temple. Now, when you tell people that it takes people to the temple, but the Chinese have a saying, one picture is worth 10,000 words. So I'm telling you, Hanuman, I said, look, this is Hanuman. Ganesh, I said, look, this is Ganesh. We'll come to him again. So one picture is worth 10,000 words. So I said, let me take them to the temple. They said, all same? Let me hear, get it from their mouth. So I took them to the temple. We also have to take off our shoes. We took them off, and we went into the main hall, a hall like this, about this size. And at the end of the hall, there were 3 cubicles. But before going to the things, I got the supervisor. I said, look, please, these are visitors from the Rhodesia, and they like to see what's going on. I said, no, you explain. I said, no. In my mind, I said, let them get it from the horse's mouth. You see? I said, no, please, you must explain to them what is going on, what you have got here. I forced the fellow. He didn't like it. So we started from the left-hand side. There were 3 cubicles, left-hand side. So in that room there, we see this statue. This is the picture, but we see a statue. I said, who's this? This is the Son of God. This is the Son of God.